What is up, everybody? This is Anthony. Let me go ahead and turn this crap down. What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with VR 365. It is Wednesday. It's April 17th, and it is about 2:02 p.m. What is going on? Yeah, this is VR 365, VR gaming news and discussion 365 days a year. Give or take about 27 days. Give or take about 27 days. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. We got a lot of stuff to get into today, but of course we do want to start off with the sponsor, our sponsor of this show. And let's see, who is our sponsor of the day? Who is paying for today's broadcast? And let's see who we got here. And it's Recycled. So I definitely wanted to extend a thank you and much appreciation to Recycled for being a Patreon supporter of this show. Really appreciate it. We slowly but surely are going to work through every single one of our Patreon supporters, thanking them in this way. We also thank people that donate via PayPal or anything like that. Because if you like this content, if you want it to continue, the best way to ensure that VR 365 doesn't just pack their bags and leave tomorrow, which could happen any day, but the best way to ensure that that doesn't happen is to possibly make some kind of donation. Because what that does is, and you don't have to do it. No one has to do it. Nobody has to donate a dime. No one has to do anything, but I just want to explain that we have no official sponsors. There's nobody sponsoring this show. Oculus doesn't sponsor this show. HTC Vive doesn't sponsor the show. Sony doesn't sponsor the show. We get no money whatsoever from Google. No money from YouTube. No money from AdSense. This channel is not monetized. It is not a monetized channel. The only way that we can get any support whatsoever is either Patreon or PayPal. That is the only way that this channel can keep going. And I gotta be honest and say that I'm not just gonna do this for the hell of it. Like I've done this for like 3 years for the hell of it. And at some point, something has to come out of this. If something doesn't come out of this, I'm just going to be like, F it, man, because it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of work. And if nothing ever comes out of it, I'm trying to give it as long of a time frame as possible for something to come out of this. But if nothing does, I'm going to bail. I'm going to bail. I'm going to return to civilian life. Why bust my ass for this shit every day if nothing eventually comes out of it? Now, am I having fun? Yes, I'm having fun. I wouldn't do this if I wasn't having fun. But at the end of the day, you do this for 3 years and nothing ever happens. So, that there should be a big break, right? That's what everybody says. It's like, pay your dues, pay your dues, pay your dues. And then a big break comes your way, like something magical happens. I'm still waiting. But I do want to thank Recycled. I do want to thank the people that have supported the Patreon. I do want to thank the people that have donated via PayPal. I also want to thank just your regular viewers that don't do any of that crap, but maybe they let somebody else know about this channel to spread awareness. Because I think that is part of the problem as well, is so few people even know VR 365 exists. So few people have any clue about VR 365. And so if you can spread awareness, that's practically as good as donating $2. In fact, it might be even better than donating $2. But yeah, much love to Patreon supporters and PayPal supporters. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the show. And so I wanted to start the show off with an image that is going around the internet right now. They're talking about this on the Oculus Quest subreddit. They're talking about this on the Oculus subreddit. And there is a rumor. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over here. This is our 1080p image window. And here it is, Oculus Quest. Standalone VR headset, 128 gigabytes, releases on 31/05/2019. Why does Europe do this, by the way, anyways? It's May 31st. Why do you guys start it with the day and then the month? I've always found that weird. Whenever I'm looking up release dates and it's like a European website or something, they show the dates like that. I find it weird. Like, what month are we in? We're in the month of May, and it's going to release on the 31st. Why would you start with 31st? But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, oh my goodness, is this thing going to be delayed another month? Are we going to have to wait another month for the Oculus Quest? That would suck. That would suck. And, you know, this could be what we consider a placeholder date. It might be placeholder, but at the same time, would anybody just be unbelievably shocked to find out that on F8, on April 30th, Zuckerberg gets out there on stage and says, pre-orders start now. Pre-order the Oculus Quest. It starts now. The Oculus Quest will be available on May 31st. I'd be like, oh, hell no, really? Because we all thought that the Oculus Quest was extremely imminent. Here we are at April 17th right now. Nostradamus predicted that the Oculus Rift S was coming out on March 28th. Here we are 19 days later, still no Rift S anywhere in sight. We have had various leaks from people that work at Best Buy that talk about receiving headsets. We've heard about Walmart. We've heard that Walmart is talking about this space reserved for a new VR headset or something like that. So rumors are out there. People are talking about this. But what is the deal? I mean, we all thought April 30th. I still actually believe that on April 30th, Zuck is going to get out there on stage. There's going to be two podiums that have a sheet over it, and there's going to be two headsets right there. And he's going to say, I've got a question for you. Do you have a gaming PC? If the answer is yes, whoop, and he pulls up the towel, and there it is, the Oculus Rift S. If you have a gaming PC, doesn't even have to be a super duper powered gaming PC, you can jump into the world of high-end VR. Oh, you don't have a gaming PC, you said. Oh, well, here you go. Whoop. And there's the Oculus Quest. And so we've got a product for you, bro. We've got, do you have a gaming PC? Yes or no? Well, here's your product. It's the Oculus Quest. If you got a gaming PC, it's the Rift S. I personally feel that is going to happen on April 30th, the first day of F8, and he's going to say available now. And so I believe that on April 30th, I believe that I am going to be driving in my car to Best Buy. I truly do. I believe I'm going to be driving to Best Buy, and I believe I'm going to be spending way too much effing money on that day because I believe I'm going to buy both of those bitches. And the other thing about it too is the Best Buy guy was talking about how there's another box in there. It's the headphones, and I mean, it's most likely the headphones, right? And I think these headphones are going to work with both. They're going to be interchangeable. So you could use them with Rift S, you can use them with the Oculus Quest, but there's going to be headphones as well. So I might buy both of those effing headsets and the headphones as well, and taxation without representation. I mean, it is going to be an expensive ass April 30th for me, but at the same time, I'm scared to death. I'm scared to death because I'm looking at this image here and it says May 31st. Please, that's 44 days left to pre-order. Hell no. Hell no. This shit better be available. I'm not waiting until May 31st. That would suck. We're going to find out that the Valve Index has standalone mode and now you don't even need an Oculus Quest anymore. Nah, I doubt it. Also, the other possibility here with that date, another possibility is in the USA, we get it on April 30th, but freaking you UK bros gotta wait an additional month. damn, would that suck? Could you imagine if everybody in the USA were playing our Oculus Quest, we're playing Vader Immortal, we're playing Journey of the Gods, we're playing all these great Quest games, and you guys got to wait an extra month across the pond? I doubt it. It's probably placeholder, but you know what? We are curious about that. Okay, so one of the things that is going on today as well, in addition to this rumor that's going on out there, we have a couple of Quest videos that have leaked out. And so I went ahead and I grabbed both of these videos. Now, first off, I got to say, the resolution is like 340p or something, so it's really bad resolution. They were grabbed from something. They are not the full resolution deal here. But one of the videos is about Oculus Quest. It's like a safety thing, okay? And safety is going to be a very big deal. We talked about this just a couple of days ago. We talked about when's the first person going to die in an Oculus Quest, because it is guaranteed. The Darwin Awards, sponsored by Oculus. So let's go ahead and check out this safety trailer that has leaked onto the internet. So I'm going to pump up the volume on this Oculus Quest montage trailer here, and we're going to check out the new safety trailer. So let's go ahead and turn this up. Oh, I got to make sure my volume's set right.
It's blocking my sun.
Okay, here we go. Okay, let's go ahead and grab this. All right, so that is the trailer that is floating around out there. People have found this trailer somehow. I don't know how it leaked out. Not very high resolution. You can see that there's a lady that wants to go outside with her Oculus Quest. The dog is saying, hell no, bro. You didn't read the freaking manual. You are going to jack up your screen by taking it outside. I don't know, man. I'm watching this. Okay, so you see the Guardian. You see the Guardian pop up. You got the kid climbing up on the books. You got the dog. I don't know if this is like the best safety trailer I've ever seen. Like, I don't know that it conveys all the things that you need to know. It looks like Dance Central is kind of highlighted right there. They kind of show you the carpeting area. And basically, I think they're trying to say, look, find a little carpet area that you got and highlight that area. That is the safe place to do what you're going to do. But yeah, this is the video that leaked out. What do you guys think? Do you think that this explains how to use your Oculus Quest in a safe way, in a very good way? It does show you, you can make the boundaries, and it does pop up like that. It shows the guy getting into VR, and it's an amazing experience. He's in VR, but then as he starts to lunge forward, he sees the Guardian. He's like, oh, okay, chill out. Yeah, I mean, it's a good video, I guess. We'll just have to see how this works out. Okay, now another video I have, this one is a bit different. It is filmed in basically like a vertical mode, and there's no sound, and it's kind of like a setup video. But I don't really know what this other video is trying to tell us, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. I'm not going to blow it up into full screen mode. So, okay, so it's showing the Oculus Quest kind of zooming around. It shows the controllers. Now it's zooming in right here. It highlights that USB, well, that connector there, I believe that's for the power. So that's your power connector. I believe that is the power button to turn it on. And I think you have to hold that for 2 seconds maybe to turn it on, is what they're trying to tell you there. You look inside to see if the battery is low. I guess that's like to hook it up to your Wi-Fi. Not a lot of explanation is going on here. Okay, that's where your battery goes. And it snaps back on. Of course, one of the complaints that we did hear about in relationship to like a lot of the people that got hands-on time with the Oculus Quest at PAX East, a lot of them were talking about the battery compartment. A lot of people were saying that they were playing Beat Saber, and in the heat of battle, in playing Beat Saber, they would accidentally pop off the battery compartment, and that is something that needs to be handled. Like the magnet inside there needs to be stronger. It needs to hold on better. It shouldn't be so easy to get that to pop off. I don't know if that's going to be a problem for myself personally, but it is something that a lot of people reported on. And unfortunately, I don't think that's something that's going to be corrected for the very first batch of Oculus Quest. So people that are able to wait, if you end up with an Oculus Quest, say later in the fall, your controllers are probably going to have a slightly different battery compartment. And I just don't know that they're going to be able to fix that quickly. In fact, we kind of know they're not, because we already know that some of these controllers have the Masons were here. Big Brother is watching. Hi, I fix it, etc., etc. We know that there's some messages that are in some of these touch controllers, and I believe Oculus has already admitted that tens of thousands of these are already out there. They're out there. They've corrected it now, so maybe somebody buying an Oculus Quest in November is not going to get the Masons were here, which that's got to suck for them, because what a collector's edition to have that. But they're probably going to have a better battery compartment. But the rest of us might have a battery compartment that is a little bit shaky. But oh well, it depends, because people complain about these things, and then sometimes I'll never notice the complaint. But maybe it's a real complaint. But we'll know about it soon enough. But these are a couple of little videos that did leak onto the intranets, so we do have that. Okay, let's go ahead and switch over to our Webby browser here. And one of the biggest stories that we do have today is Thumper. Thumper has been confirmed for the Oculus Quest. I don't think this is a shocker of shockers. I think everybody probably kind of assumed that Thumper would arrive on the Quest. It's available on the Oculus Rift. It's available on PlayStation VR. It's available on the Oculus Go. Of course, Thumper is coming to the Oculus Quest. Now, I don't believe we have information on whether or not this is cross-buy. As far as I know, it has not been confirmed one way or the other if Thumper is going to have cross-buy. I like Thumper. It's a good game. And a lot of people are like, Thumper is just like not even that great. I believe it is kind of an audio-visual powerhouse. It's definitely one of these games where you want a really good set of headphones. I like these headphones personally. These cans they completely cover my ear and kind of make a seal on my ear. And these are Sennheisers. And a game like Thumper, you pump up the freaking bass on that shit, and it's pretty freaking awesome. It's a powerful experience. You start to really dial in to the experience, and you just lock and you get into like a zone with it. And it's all about those walls and slamming into the walls, battling the bosses, all of that stuff. Rhythm violence. Absolutely. It is rhythm, and it is violent collisions, to be sure. And this is going to be arriving on the Oculus Quest. No shocker there. Okay, what else do we have going on Oculus Quest? Let's go back over here to our standard scene, and let me go ahead and grab a different trailer here real quick to talk about another game that is hitting the Oculus Quest. Well, actually, not a game. So Tilt Brush has been confirmed. Tilt Brush is also coming to the Oculus Quest. And the good news for Tilt Brush, it does have cross-buy. Another thing about Tilt Brush coming to the Oculus Quest is we know that Oculus and Facebook have said a number of times already that the Oculus Quest is a gaming platform. This is for games. This is a gaming thing. They've mentioned before that the Go is like 80% media, 20% games. And they've kind of said it's the opposite with the Oculus Quest. 80% games, 20% media. And I think what they're talking about here is they're talking about the focus. And so the focus of the Oculus Quest is on gaming, but there is going to be some media applications. Now, Tilt Brush should work very well in an Oculus Quest. The freedom to be able to move around, the freedom also to be able to make a giant play space. And so you can make an artistic creation that could just span a huge giant area if you have a really big open area that you could do it. And then somebody could walk all around. Like, imagine what somebody could do with this inside a high school gymnasium or something. Somebody can make just a gigantic, I'm assuming that it could scale very large. But I'm thinking somebody can make like a gigantic forest with all these trees and things that you have to walk through, and you're walking through it, like they could build the entire thing in a big high school gymnasium or some kind of community center or something, and then you put the headset on and you're just kind of walking through it. And because it's completely wireless, there's no wires, there's no issues there, you can walk along freely and just examine this beautiful art thing that somebody created, and it's going to be freaking badass. Now, unfortunately, we have a bit of some Debbie Downer news in relation to Tilt Brush because they did have to make some minor changes to Tilt Brush to get it to work on the Oculus Quest. So one of the things we know about when you start using Tilt Brush and see that bloom, see how it really lights up as you're drawing it there, okay, that's a little bit of a problem for the Snapdragon 835. So one of the things that Google had to do in bringing this game to the Oculus Quest is it's still going to have that bloom. It's still going to have that glow effect in the very beginning as you start drawing it, but it is going to fade away rather quickly. So there are going to be some downgrades here. The other part is the stroke rendering. Like when you normally use Tilt Brush on an HTC Vive or an Oculus Rift, it actually draws both sides. So it's like a double-sided drawing that it does, where the stroke rendering on the Oculus Quest version is going to be single-sided. Okay, so it's not going to be quite as elaborate. And then maybe the worst bit of news of all is the audio reactive mode not going to be included. So we are not getting the audio reactive mode. And those of you that maybe played Tilt Brush on the, not on the Quest, but Tilt Brush on the Vive or Tilt Brush on the Rift very early in its life, and then you didn't visit it again, they added a thing later, which was the audio reactive mode, where you can have an MP3 playing, and as the beats are bumping, whatever designs you're drawing, they pulsate with the music. Unfortunately, that had to be removed from the Oculus Quest version. But the way we understand it here is that the core center of this experience is going to make it through in the translation. And it's basically, you're going to have Tilt Brush. I mean, that's the bottom line. So it's going to be watered down a little bit, but you are going to have Tilt Brush. So, we found out that Thumper is coming today. Tilt Brush is coming today. We found out it's delayed until May 31st. No, I'm just kidding. I'm really, really hoping that is not the case. Really hoping that it isn't delayed. That's why today's title for our episode is "Damn Oculus, release the Quest already." The reason we have that title is because I had just saw the advertisement there for Game, the UK retailer, where it says May 31st, and the first thought that popped into my mind was, "Damn Oculus, release the Quest already." And so we're hoping that it really isn't delayed until May 31st, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Okay, well, you know what? There's some additional games that are coming to the Oculus Quest. In fact, why don't we go back over to our Webby browser? We could go back to Upload VR here. And so one of this little area right here, it says casual titles, Angry Birds VR, Fruit Ninja VR, Rush, and Bait are coming to Oculus Quest. Now, I believe we knew about 3 of these. I know we knew about 3 of these. We knew about 3 of them because I think when you had that original trailer that came out with where it showed like a couple of seconds of Robo Recall, a couple of seconds of Moss, at the very, very end of that trailer, it showed a bunch of different games cycling through, but they weren't confirmed. They weren't absolutely confirmed, but those of us that freezed every little frame, we knew. Angry Birds VR, Isle of Pigs, it's coming to the Oculus Quest. Fruit Ninja VR is coming to the Oculus Quest. Rush is coming to the Oculus Quest. What we didn't know is Bait. Bait is coming to the Oculus Quest. And you know what? The developers of Bait is Resolution Games, the same development house that did Angry Birds VR, Isle of Pigs. And I was looking for a trailer for Bait, and it just so happens I found a video where they're talking about a 6 Degrees of Freedom version of Bait. Gee, I wonder what that could be. So this might be actual Oculus Quest game footage. So why don't we go ahead and check out this trailer I just grabbed for Bait, which apparently, like if you read this article here, one of the things they say about Bait, you go down to Bait, it says, although you might not have heard of it, Bait is actually one of the most popular VR games ever made. The free-to-play fishing game has had over 2 million downloads as early as 2017, and it's currently only available on mobile VR platforms, pretty much Gear VR and Oculus Go. It's free on the Oculus Go. In fact, our boy Paradise Decay, you might want to bounce over to his channel because he has a Let's Play of him playing Bait, and this is going to be coming to the Oculus Quest. But I did want to check out this trailer real quick because it might give us a little bit of insight into the specific Oculus Quest version. So let's go ahead and go back over to our standard scene. Let's check out this trailer. I'm going to pump up this tilt brush trailer a little bit, and we're going to check out Bait.
Okay. Hiya. So in order to go to Bait Island, you gotta get your headset thingy together to make with a good VR. People have come here to Bait Island for years. We got beautiful scenery, extraordinary fishing, and not just one, but 2 fishing shops. Make sure you come down to Ocean Lake to enjoy the spectacular views, amazing fishing, and relaxing atmosphere. Oh look, that's my buddy Dale catching a big one.
Hey there! If your fishing gear breaks, or if you just want an upgrade, make sure to visit me at Tall Tales and Tackle. I got you covered.
Ocean Lake and my shop ain't all that Bait Island got to offer. We also got a swamp. Some grubby looking fish lurking there, I tell you that.
I guess that's all I had to say. Please come by. I'm Jim Bob.
Did the recording thing get it? I can start talking? Okay. Hiya. So in order to go to Bait Island, you gotta get your...
Well, that didn't really say anything about 6DoF or anything, but that's what the video said at first. So anyway, that is Bait. It is going to be coming to Oculus Quest, so we will go ahead and look forward to that. Okay, so one of the things I have been talking about on this show pretty much every single day for the longest time, but over the last week and a half, it's really been quite spotty, and that, of course, is the Oculus deal of the day. But guess what, guys? The Oculus deal of the day is back. We actually have a legitimate deal of the day. So I thought maybe this was something that died, but apparently it has not died. So let's go back over here to our Webby browser, and we could see the Oculus daily deal is Shooty Fruity for $13.99. So this is 30% off. The normal price is $20. The sale ends in a little over 9 hours. So you got a little bit over 9 hours left. Shooty Fruity, you know what? It's a colorful game, but I don't know. It's a decent game. It's very colorful. Like, the one thing I will say for it, an incredible amount of color. So if you really love extreme color, the sound is pretty good. You're kind of in a shopping, you're at like a grocery store, and basically like things in the grocery store kind of start attacking you and you have to shoot it. And so it's kind of got this interesting mechanic going on. I would probably wait for even a deeper discount than this. I thought it was okay, but we've got so many of these games. This is one of these kinds of things where if it came out in the year 2016, I would have been really hyped for Shooty Fruity. But at this point in time, these games just don't do a lot for me. Now, if you found it on a Steam sale for about $6 or $7, might be worth a look at that point. I'm not super into Shooty Fruity. It's not terrible. It's absolutely not terrible, but I certainly wouldn't rant and rave about it. But the good news is we actually do have a daily deal. It says right there, daily deal. So daily deal is alive and well. So that's good news that we have that. Okay, we have some game announcements that are going on as well. In fact, we got a brand new trailer for a brand new game. There is a development studio. Actually, let's see here. Let me switch back over. I'm going to switch back over to Upload VR. They actually have a story on this. And let's see if we can find it here. Okay, here it is. Okay, and we'll switch back to the webby browser. So there is this game that is going to be coming at some point this year for VR platforms, and it is called 9, The Splintered Mind. And Upload VR has this article on it. They say it's essentially Blade Runner VR and that it looks really good. Now, the developer is Odin Studios. They are based in Melbourne, and it is unofficial. I mean, they don't have the Blade Runner license or anything, but that's basically what this game is all about. And apparently it's been in development for 2 years, which gives them hope that it might be pretty cool. And it's kind of got a mix of elements from crime scene inspection using different gadgetry to full-on combat. Okay, so I went ahead and grabbed the trailer for this. Let's go ahead and check it out. Maybe we got another primetime VR game to look forward to. So I'm going to bounce back over to our standard scene here, pump the volume on bait, and let's check this out.
I can start talking? Okay. Hiya. So in order to go to...
Hello? Avery? Can you hear me? Looks like the line is bad. I know we haven't spoken since the funeral. I need a favor. Don't know who I can trust anymore. Something bad is about to happen. The world is going to hell. Obsession with technology is driving people insane. I've got him caught up in something. I think I'm in danger. Look, we can't talk about this over the phone. They're always listening. I need to meet you in person. There's something you need to see. I need your help. And Avery, one more thing. Don't trust anyone. We don't know who is involved. This goes way,
That looks pretty interesting. I mean, it's definitely, you can definitely tell that like this isn't made by a super high-end AAA developer. You're kind of looking at the Blade Runner world, and they got like one dude standing there, one dude standing 50 feet away. Not like a super crowded Blade Runner kind of a world here, but they do have the general feel of Blade Runner, kind of the cyberpunk style. And there's a lot of things I've played in the past that kind of I think of when I'm playing, like when I'm watching this trailer. For example, you have that old Blade Runner game that was on the PC. Do you guys remember the Blade Runner game? It was kind of like a point-and-click adventure Blade Runner, and you would go to these different houses and places, and you would have to investigate clues and stuff. I think it was made by, God, who was that? Not Westworld, but Westwood Studios or something like that. I can't remember the name now. I know that EA bought them and completely ruined them, like they did so many other developers over the years. But it reminds me of that old Blade Runner PC game a little bit. It also reminds me a little bit of Quinero, which Quinero is a free VR experience that anybody could download for free. And it's kind of like this detective thing. And it's kind of cyberpunky as well. But you can obviously tell here, we've got some different backgrounds. We've got some different scenes and scenarios. At some points when I was watching this trailer, I was like, is this kind of like an Escape the Room type of thing, but set in like a Blade Runner universe? Or is it going to be a little bit deeper than that? Also, just making harsh judgments on seeing this trailer one time. I got to tell you, like the voice work, like if that guy is the actual one of the voice people in this game. One thing I got to say, man, to all the indie developers out there, do not get your janitor, do not get your fifth programmer to be the voice guy. Hire actual voice talent. I know it's expensive, but god damn it. Some of these games get ruined by having bad voices. That's one of the problems I have with some of this stuff. But that's really cool right there because it looks like you're in VR and you're going to go into a VR experience while you're in VR. So that's kind of cool. They kind of play on that. And, it's not like we're exactly swimming in cyberpunk style games in VR so far. We do have a lot of Tron likes, but we don't really have an adventure game where you're really part of a world like this. And this could be kind of our first taste. So, it's not Cyberpunk 2077 in VR, but, beggars can't be choosers, right? So hopefully this might turn out pretty well. Odin Studios, haven't really heard too much from this Melbourne-based studio. Graphically looks pretty good. One of the things that I've heard about this game, okay, Westwood Studios. Yeah, I was thinking Westworld, Westwood, something like that. Yeah, Westwood Studios, Blade Runner by Westwood Studios was a really cool game back in the days. In fact, I could do a quick Google search. I could show you guys Blade Runner, Westwood Studios. It was an old PC game back in the days. Images here. Yeah, okay, let's switch over to our webby browser right here. Yeah, so this is it. It was this Blade Runner game way back in the days. I had this on my computer at the time, and it was on like a whole bunch of discs. And basically you had this guy, but it was like point and click. Like, you would take your mouse and you move it over there. Then he would walk over there and he would investigate. But it had that Blade Runner world. Like this part right here where you go to the food shop and they're serving food and it's raining everywhere and it's kind of got this oppressive feeling. This was the Blade Runner game that I played way back in the days. And, so looking at that trailer, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. But honestly, I kind of just want to go back and play this Blade Runner game after looking at all these pictures. It definitely reminds me of that. But the other thing I was going to say, you guys remember Aircar? Remember Aircar in the Oculus Rift? That kind of gave us a taste of a Blade Runner-like world. And it would be cool if this game also had some of that, where you're actually flying through the cityscapes of Blade Runner, because I thought Aircar did a really good job of that. And we definitely could use a game like this in VR. In fact, do you guys remember somebody made, what was that other Blade Runner thing that we played a while back in VR? Somebody recreated like Decker's apartment in VR, and it was like a really good recreation, and you can go out onto the balcony and it was raining and everything. I tried that experience. That was something I downloaded. I don't know if it was on like itch.io or whatever, but there's a Blade Runner experience I tried the air car demo. Paradise Decay is saying, did I try the air car demo? Absolutely. Air car is awesome. I loved it. The only problem with air car is if you do smooth turning, oh my God, it absolutely wrecks my brain. I cannot do smooth turning, especially in air car. It almost made me Earl. I got really lucky from air car. Like I stopped it immediately. I mean, I was like, oh no, I cannot do that. I cannot turn that way. Or I got to look at something else when I'm turning. But yeah, somebody recreated Decker's apartment. Oh, it got pulled. Okay, Box Lord says Decker's apartment got pulled because of copyright. I remember that. Yeah, Blade Runner 9732 experience. Let me look that up. Blade Runner 9732. 9732 VR. Let's see if they got some pictures of it. Yeah, let's go back to the Webby browser. Okay, so here's some pictures. This was that apartment that they had. Like this guy, really, whoever did this, spent a lot of time recreating Decker's apartment from the original Blade Runner. Yeah, it was 9732 Blade Runner. And you couldn't really do much. You basically could just walk around this guy's apartment and you could maybe click on a few different things, but you could go out to the balcony. That was my favorite part, is you went out to the balcony and the rain is just pouring down and you get to see like the Coca-Cola signs and, you know, stuff like that in the background. You get to see all the little cars that are flying around and driving around. And it really brings you into that experience. Of course, we also had, Blade Runner 2039, the official one that's like on Oculus. Blade Runner 2039, what is it called though? Not the movie though. Let me see. It was Blade Runner. I'm trying to remember what the Oculus one was. Not the replicant one, but I can't remember anymore. But you could walk around and see stuff. Do you know I still haven't seen this new Blade Runner movie? I have not seen this new Blade Runner movie. How crazy is that? I need to rent that. Blade Runner 2049 something VR. Whoops, I need to add VR to it, right? But yeah, that's pretty cool. That's one of the... Okay, Blade Runner 2049 Replicant Pursuit, but no, there's another one. Memory Lab, that's what it is. Okay, Blade Runner Memory Lab. Blade Runner Memory Lab. That's the one that I played on an Oculus Rift, and it's an experience. And this is a really cool experience. Like, those of you that have never tried this out, this is really cool. Like, I really liked what they did with this, and I think we're spoiled. This speaks to what I was talking to Alex about yesterday when we were talking about PlayStation VR, and I was talking to Alex and I was saying, look, man, one of the things I'm kind of disappointed with from a PlayStation VR standpoint is PlayStation VR people, they don't get this type of shit. You know, we get all this experiential stuff. And whether you have a Vive or you have a Rift or Windows Mixed Reality or Pimax or whatever you got, there's a lot of this experiential stuff that we get, and people on PlayStation don't get it. And they get a few of them. They get a handful of them here and there, but they don't get a lot of it. But, you know, it kind of had a really weird, really weird stuff that was going on in this Blade Runner Memory Lab thing. Like some glimpses of the future of interactive entertainment, I think, especially with these characters. So it looks like maybe this was nominated for an Emmy Awards in VR, and it probably deserved to be nominated because they did some very interesting stuff with that. But yeah, Blade Runner in VR, it's kind of like butter and toast. I mean, Blade Runner in VR, it goes together very well. So we are looking forward to this kind of unofficial Blade Runner game. It is called 9. What is it called? 9, the Splintered something, right? Going back to this, 9, the Splintered Mind, essentially Blade Runner VR, and it looks great. And this is coming. It's coming in 2019, but it's going to hit the Oculus Rift first, with plans to come to the Vive and other platforms at a later date. Also, this is an episodic thing, and so this is just part 1. This is just episode 1. So when we get this, it might be very small. It might only be a couple of hours long, and it might just be kind of the start of this. And of course, a lot of people, a lot of these developers, when they do something like this, really what they're hoping is that they're going to sell enough of the initial one to be able to fund all these additional episodes. And the thing that you worry about is if this falls flat, if people aren't into this and people aren't buying it, you might not get a part 2 or a part 3 or a part 4. So it's kind of wishful thinking on the developer's part. But yeah, that is in the news as a new game that we found out about. Speaking of new games and other stuff that are coming as well, let's see here. Let's go back to the front page of Upload VR. I'm not sure if Upload VR had this or if this might actually be a Road to VR story. So yeah, let me go over to Road to VR. Okay, so Road to VR, Spice and Wolf. Now, this is a game, we've been tracking this a little bit. The developer of this game is Spicy Tales, and they made a game called Project Lux, which I believe came out in 2018. And this game is Spice and Wolf. So they're going to bring the manga anime Spice and Wolf to VR. We've heard about this game for quite a while. In fact, they promised it to pretty much every platform under the sun. But we do have a release date now. This is coming on June 3rd. It's coming to the Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and the Oculus Go. There's no mention at this point of the PlayStation VR or Oculus Quest version, although both of them were stretch goals for the Kickstarter campaign. And I believe they reached the stretch goals on that. And because there's an Oculus Go version, and that's releasing on June 3rd, and the Oculus Go, the Snapdragon that's in the Oculus Go is not that dissimilar from the Snapdragon that's in the Quest, so I would think they could kind of just port that over. They could port it over as is. They probably want to improve it a bit. So I think it could come to the Oculus Go and then also possibly PlayStation VR as well. Now, I do have a quick little video of this. I don't think it's like a professionally made trailer, though, but I think it gives you a quick little glimpse, and it was just released recently. So let me go ahead and pop that on. So let's go back over here to our standard scene. Let's check out this little video.
Is bad. I know we haven't spoken since the funeral. I need a favor.
Spice and
Don't know
Wolf.
who I can trust anymore. Something bad is about to happen. The world is going to hell. Obsession with technology is driving people.
ほら、いい加減機嫌直せよ。何か食べるか？
わっちゃ堅牢ホロじゃ。食い物などで釣られはせぬ。それにこれ以上わっちが金を使ったら、主から捨てられるかもしれぬからの。
この前の町で買った干しぶどう食べていいから。
わっちゃ食い物などに釣られぬ。それにどうせほんのちょっとしか食べてはいかんとか言うのじゃろうが。
新しい櫛とブラシは予定外の出費だからダメだと言ったんだ。けど干しぶどうはお前のために買ったんだから、好きなだけ食べればいい。
All right, well, not a hell of a lot there. In fact, I think I saw this clip a long time ago. But you know what? I looked this up on YouTube, and it said it was just uploaded like a day ago by Spicy Tales. So I thought it might have been a new thing. But basically, we're talking about an anime girl, a cat anime girl. And so if you're really into that, you might really like this. Spice and Wolf. And it's coming on June 3rd to the Vive, Rift, and Oculus Go. So there is that. Okay, we've got another trailer to get to, and this is Doctor Who, The Runaway. We heard about this a long time ago, that there was going to be a Doctor Who VR experience that was coming to VR, and it was going to be kind of a cartoon style Doctor Who VR experience, and there is a brand new trailer. Yeah, I did show you guys this one a long time ago, but I thought it was a new one, but no, it appears to be the same one. They just must have reposted it. But let's go ahead and check out this new Doctor Who trailer and check that out. So let me go ahead and grab that. It's called the Runaway VR trailer for Doctor Who. Let's check it out.
They hunt down and destroy anyone or anything that threatens the stability of the universe.
Don't forget to click below and subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel.
All right, well, that is the brief little quick look trailer at Doctor Who. And if we go ahead and bounce back over here to our webby browser, we can see that it is Doctor Who, the Runaway trailer. And this is updated. The BBC have released a new trailer for Doctor Who, the Runaway, which gives us a great first peek at the look and feel of the upcoming experience. It looks to be a polished experience, and that intriguing art style looks great in motion. Okay, so there's a little description of what's going on here. It says, you've been in a collision. You wake up inside the TARDIS. The Doctor introduces you to the person or thing you collided with. He's a strange and magnificent ball of living energy called Volta. Part surly teenager, part bomb, Volta is very unstable. In fact, he's primed to explode, big time, unless he can be returned to his home planet, Sharpish. The problem is a squad of galactic busybodies has other plans for Volta, bad ones. Drawn into a frantic chase, you become the Doctor's unlikely assistant as she races against time to get Volta home to his parents. Armed with a sonic screwdriver, it is down to you to help the Doctor as she faces the forces of evil and teenage angst in this animated 13-minute VR adventure from the team behind Doctor Who Series 11. Okay, so this experience is going to get its inaugural showing at the Tribeca Film Festival next week, which starts on Friday, April 26. So yeah, this is coming to the Tribeca Film Festival, and then eventually, you got to imagine, it'll hit possibly Vive, Rift.
Or anything that threatens the stability of the universe.
So it might be pretty cool. You know, it does look a little bit, I mean, it's definitely an animated thing here, but it might be pretty cool, especially if you're a big-time Doctor Who person. All right, well, you know, that's most of the stuff I had here. Let's see if there's anything else I needed to get into before we bounce out of here. One thing we might be able to check out is maybe some mailbag, but let's go ahead and see what people are talking about in chat. Okay, let's see. Crunchy says they got the actress to voice her own character. That is cool. Yeah, that actually is a major, major bonus, because whenever they get these other actors that kind of sound somewhat like the real person, but not quite, it really can be an immersion breaker when you're in VR. So if you can get the actual legitimate actor, that is definitely a major, major bonus. Oh, Del Wolfensparger. Okay, so Del Wolfensparger, this guy has donated. He was just talking about how if we go over to our webby browser here, it kind of shows these things, you know, like thank you for your support and stuff. Actually, why don't we switch over to, let's see, we'll go over to this mode here. Yeah, see, in this window over here, I've got to turn my camera here now when we're in this mode here. These are like some recent Patreon supporters. We got Jason Martino. Thank you for your support. You know, we're highlighting some recent Patreon supporters. We're also highlighting people that have made PayPal donations, and then also VR game rankings, the most wanted VR games from the last most recent ranking. But one of the people that have made some PayPal donations recently, in fact, 2 different $20 donations in the last couple of days, is Del Wolfensbarger. And one of the things he's asking me is like, what is the deal with all these headsets? Like, what's the information on the Valve Index and all this stuff? And honestly, there just isn't really any information right now. I mean, we're pretty much waiting. We haven't had an information explosion, and the rumors have kind of died down. Everybody's pretty much waiting for May 1st is what's going on with the index. I can tell you, look, I'm just as interested in the Valve Index as I've always been, but we're waiting for May 1st. We're waiting for this information to finally hit. And, there just isn't much else to go on. I've heard, we could go to the Valve Index subreddit and try to see, but, all we really have is you could go to VNN on YouTube, the Valve News Network, and you can get a lot of speculation, a lot of innuendo from the Valve News Network about the Valve Index. But honestly, that guy, Tyler McVicker, I believe is his name, he's just throwing a lot of shit at the wall. So I don't know that there's any real information that's coming from that dude. There's no information on the Valve Index right now. We're waiting for May 1st. The only thing of any legitimate interest that is going on here with the Valve Index is the Knuckles controllers, because I believe there's been another update to Steam VR and to the now the Valve Index controllers. They're ready to go. You could release the Valve Index controllers right now and it would be fine. You could use them right now. In fact, actually, let's go to the Vive subreddit, because I think there was a little story on this. So let's go back over here to our web browser. Let's go to the Vive subreddit. Let me go ahead and refresh this, because I do believe Knuckles was in the news a little bit here. And it says, new Knuckles driver update firmware update is good, real good. Okay, so that's this story right here. I'm going to go ahead and click on this and see what they've got to say here. And this just says, I used to get some ambiguity between ring and pinky finger occasionally, and sometimes didn't get full curl range out of my pinky, but now it seems to be working great and delivering on hand presence much more than before, and still way more than with the Oculus Touch. And sadly, it's Bradley posted a video update showing the improvement. And so, it's a new driver update has hit for the Knuckles controllers. And so there's some things that are kind of going on in the background, some smaller things that are happening that make us think that things are starting to ramp up, but we just don't have much information. We don't have much information. Yeah, there's a new Steam VR branch for the Index Press demo. Now, this is kind of interesting, because one of the things I always told you guys is we're going to know when the Valve thing is really getting ready to explode, because what we're going to hear about is all these different journalists are going to say, I got to go up to Valve this weekend. They're showing something off. I don't know what it is, but we're going up to Valve. And you'll hear about that from Road to VR, from Upload VR, from Engadget, from The Verge, from VentureBeat, from all these different people, Polygon, IGN, etc., etc. And so they're likely to bring all these people up to Seattle, up to the Valve offices, where they're going to give them a private demo of the Valve Index and possibly some of the Valve Index games and some of the software and everything. And they're going to get a big blowout of it, probably over an entire weekend. And then they're going to have to sit on that information until a very specific time on May 1st. And so what'll happen is they're going to invite all these people up. They're going to check it out. They're going to try all these demos so they can write a nice long article. They can make videos. Tested is going to go up there. Norman Chan, Jeremy Williams, they're all going to go up there and get to try this stuff out. And then it's all going to be embargoed, kind of similar to what Oculus did, where they had that private event before we found out about the Rift S, and everything was embargoed. And then boom, the announcement of the Rift S came out, and then within like 20 minutes of that, you got all these articles hitting Engadget, VentureBeat, long drawn out articles that explain everything about it, videos about it, etc., etc. Well, the same thing is probably going to happen with the Valve Index, and this is encouraging that there is a Steam VR branch for the Index Press demo. So they're probably getting this ready for when they invite a whole bunch of media up to Seattle. I can tell you this, if anybody from Valve is watching this, my email is info@vrgamerankings.com. I will go up there. I'm down to go up there. I'm down to go up there and check out your Valve Index. I would love to check it out. I'd love to check out your Valve VR games. And I would love to do a video and all that type of stuff. So hit me up, man. info@vrgamerankings.com. I would love to go up there and check all this stuff out. I doubt that's going to happen. It's pretty much going to be for the main press. It's going to be for IGN, the big guys out there. So probably will not get an invite. But I do believe that that's probably what's going to happen. It's probably going to be whatever the weekend is right before May 1st. That's probably when that's going to all go down. But, we could look at Valve Index, the Valve Index subreddit. I haven't really checked out the Valve Index subreddit in a long time. So let's go ahead and check that out. Okay, so here is the Valve Index subreddit. And this is like a video showing how better the finger tracking is on the new update that was released a bit ago. We could check this out real quick just to see what it looks like. I'll just keep it muted though. Take a moment to see what improvements Valve has made to the Knuckles controller tracking. Okay, see there's some examples there. It's showing you the capacitive sensors that can sense whether or not your fingers... That looks pretty goddamn good. I mean, this does look really good. That is impressive. It's impressive that it can be that. It's almost like hand tracking. It's almost like we have hand tracking like built in as well, just with those capacitive sensors. Like, what a great job that's doing. So apparently it's a little bit better. Some people are still complaining about some of the problems with the tracking, but I don't know. It looks pretty good to me. So yeah, that is going on. These people are trying to estimate the FOV from the YouTube leak a few weeks ago. Yeah, I haven't gotten into like all... Oh my God, look at this. Look at the detectives out there trying to figure this shit out. Trying to make all kinds of calculations. That is some funny shit. Look at that. Oh my God. They're really trying to figure this out. This guy's saying, can you do it on a Vive screen grab and see if you can get 110 degrees? This guy says, I agree with you. We got to do this and see how accurate it is. Not to mention we'll get to see the rendered FOV of the Vive since we'll never see it from all the lenses. That's why pushing the headset towards your head gives you a tiny bit more FOV. And so this guy says, so the final answer is 136 degrees? This other guy says 135 FOV is most likely correct. That's what we've always kind of heard. We've always kind of heard 135 degrees field of view. And this guy says if 135 degrees field of view is confirmed, I think 2K displays are practical as well. Otherwise, the PPD would be very mediocre. Yeah, but then what about the fact that it only requires you to have like a 970 and a 1070 or whatever? Like, that's the problem. That's why something doesn't quite add up. But you know what? Speaking of the 2K by 2K screen, one thing I didn't mention a long time ago, I had this, I was going to talk about this. There was this thing that came out one time. And this is Japan Display Incorporated. And I mentioned this yesterday. I was like, oh yeah, JDI, Sony is a member of Japan Display Incorporated. And so when I was talking to Alex yesterday and we were talking about PlayStation VR, we were talking about PlayStation VR 2, one of the things that I thought about is I think PlayStation VR 2 might have these screens in there. These are those 2.8-inch screens with 1058 PPI. It's 2160 by 2160. All right. Excellent motion image based on fast response IPS, blinking backlight, and high refresh rate. 2K by 2K dual panel solution for professional HMD design. This is Japan Display Incorporated. And these could very well be the screens that could be in the Valve Index. And I think they're going to need some high resolution screens like this if they're going to throw a 135 degree field of view at us, because you're spreading that resolution over a much wider field of view. The PPD is going to suffer tremendously if it's just Vive Pro resolution. If it's just Vive Pro resolution, I think we have a bit of a problem here. Vive Pro, Samsung Odyssey, etc., etc. I think it has to go beyond that. But then you go back to the minimum specifications that Valve had on that leaked page, and I believe the minimum specifications was a 970. And so something does not compute unless something does not compute unless Valve has some kind of software trickery where it automatically detects your video card and what you have, and it automatically undersamples dramatically based on your video card. That's a possibility. That's a legitimate possibility. So that's still my hope. I'm still hoping we get a 2160 by 2160 panel in the Valve Index, but the minimum specifications, that seems to be the problem. So, that does seem to be a problem there. But yeah, these are the screens from JDI. But there's another company as well. There's another one as well that has a very similar screen that are kind of competing with each other. So yeah, I just don't have, there just isn't much Valve Index news. I could talk about the 5 things that Upload VR wants from the Valve Index. I'd never talked about this. So they're saying upgraded specifications. It was a disappointment. Oculus Rift S. They want better VR controls. Well, we're definitely getting that with the Valve Index controllers. VR gaming that makes a statement. They're saying they want Half-Life. Good luck with that. A fair price. Again, good luck with that. Nostradamus says $899.99. Easier setup and fewer PC bugs. Again, good luck with that. Yeah, I think what you are going to get is an upgraded specifications, not maybe so much with resolution, but I believe the lenses, I believe the optics are going to be on an entirely new level. I really do. I really think their lenses and optics and all of that, they're going to be on a new level with that. Maybe even refresh rates and stuff. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see, because that ties into specifications as well. The controls are going to be good. They're definitely going to up the controls in a major way with the Valve Index controllers. That's going to be good. As far as the games, man, I don't know. I'm kind of torn here. You'd like to think one of the big Valve games will be there at launch, but it's just so hard to imagine that Valve is finally going to put it together as far as that goes. And then, of course, the Half-Life thing. It was rumored. It was rumored that there was going to be some kind of prequel, like a Half-Life prequel, because I think they decided that if we do a Half-Life prequel that requires VR, the entire internet won't burn overnight and, pitchforks and all of that, because they'll be like, hey, this is a prequel. Settle down. Yes, it does require VR. Yes, it is Half-Life. Yes, it is the first Half-Life game that we've had in freaking forever. But, put your pitchforks down, because it's not Half-Life 3. It's a prequel. Possibly. Fair price. I can't see it. I just can't see it. I think it's going to be $899. And setup, I don't think setup's going to be that easy. You're going to have to put up some lighthouses. I just don't see it being that easy. You're still going to have to deal with all the Steam drama. It's not like Steam and Valve have changed overnight in terms of having like all these different Steam beta this, Steam beta that. Oh, you got to back out of the beta because this doesn't work. Enable the beta so that works. We're going to be doing that dance as well. I'm sure all of that's going to happen. So let's see what some people are talking about in chat in regards to this. Del Wolfensparger says, I want 1058 PPI with Samsung Plus SDE filtering. But maybe you're not going to need that filtering when you see the 1058 PPI. Del Wolfensparger, have you put an HP reverb on your head? Have you put an Acer Concept D Oho on your head? Because maybe if you tried one of those, because I think both of those, they have those JDI screens, 2.89 inch screens. Those are the JDI screens. If you try one of those, you might realize you don't need the SDE filtering because that's going to soften it a little bit. Del Wolfensparger says, I bet they have some new brain warp tech. Oh, to keep the specifications down. They got to have something. You know, maybe they just automatically undersample the living shit out of it, and that's how they keep those specs down. Macker33 says, new adopters aren't going to pay $799. Yeah, they're not, but they're going to sell this to a lot of people that are thirsty for the new generation of VR. Look, VR's been around for 3 solid years. It's about time. We've all got itchy trigger fingers. Look, we are the hardest of the hardcore. We want a new headset. Rift S did not deliver what we wanted. HP Reverb, the Acer Oho, they're interesting with the 2160 by 2160, but there's other downsides that they bring along as well. We want something that really takes us to a new level, and the Valve Index could be that. But we just have to wait, man. We have to wait until May 1st. I just don't think we're going to get any more leaks of any real significance. So I think we're just going to have to wait. It's a waiting game, and we still got a lot of days to go. We still got a lot of days until May 1st. And then you have the whole F8 thing that happens on April 30th and May 1st. And man, it is going to be a chaotic couple of days. Those days are like a couple of days are going to be extremely chaotic because we might be buying an Oculus Quest and then the next, like literally, you could literally be driving to Best Buy on April 30th, buying yourself a Quest and a Rift S and just bringing them home, checking out Pass-Through Plus on your Rift S and being like, oh my God, this Pass-Through Plus thing is super cool. Checking out Journey of the Gods, maybe if it's available already on your Oculus Quest, and playing that in the living room, having a lot of fun with that. And then the very next day, the freaking Valve Index bomb is going to drop. It is going to be such a confusing couple of days to just, because you're not going to have the time to unpack it or digest all of it. It's going to be just an explosion. People are going to be frazzled. Like, what is Sweeviver and MRTV and all those guys going to do? Because they are the hardware guys. Like, people expect a full breakout video about everything Oculus Quest, everything Oculus Rift S, and then breaking down all the stuff from Valve Index, and it's all coming within like a 48-hour period of time. It is just going to be bonkers. But that's apparently what's going to happen. So we just have to kind of wait for that. It's going to be crazy. All right, guys. Well, I need to get the hell out of here. It is pretty much my coffee time. I need to have my afternoon cup of coffee, and I'm going to bounce out of here. But that's going to go ahead and do it for this particular episode of VR 365 Live. This was episode 154 of the show. Wow, we had a lot of people watching this episode, and I got to tell you, not my finest work today. I was not in a zone today. Okay, sometimes you go to the basketball court. And every shot you take is a nice swish, and you feel really, really good. Today, I felt like every shot I was taking was clanking off the rim, but it probably wasn't that bad. But I just felt like today wasn't a very good show. But oh well, I did it. It's over with, and that is a beautiful thing, so I can move on. But yeah, so that's going to pretty much do it for today's episode. Remember to go ahead and hit that like button, regardless of whether it was good or not. Just hit it anyway. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, or go see your local doctor. And that's pretty much it. Of course, you could definitely throw a few dollars my way if you want to do that. That would be awesome. It ensures the future of this show. You don't want to wake up one day and VR 365 is no more. And if I keep receiving donations, it's so much harder for me to quit. If I don't receive donations, it's so much easier for me to quit because I start thinking, why am I doing this again? Why am I doing this again? Oh yeah, the adoration, people saying, Anthony, such a great show, but I don't know. I mean, that works for a couple of years, but after a while, something else has to pop. So, maybe a donation might be nice because I'll tell you what, the donations are awesome. Not Del Wolfensparger, dude, you've done your part. You've donated your part. Hussein X has done his part. You guys have done your parts. Recycled, you've done your part. Somebody else needs to freaking step up to the plate because I'll tell you what, the donations come in and then I can actually buy a Valve Index, and I can buy a Quest, and I can buy a Rift S, and I can try all this stuff out, and I can have them here, and I can make detailed videos on how good they really are or how good they aren't. It's kind of nice. It's a good thing. And so that's great. But anyway, I need to get the hell out of here. What am I doing? It's coffee time. So I will see everybody tomorrow. And tomorrow on Thursday, we will be starting at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So I'll see you guys then. Have a wonderful day. Take it easy and later.